We're so happy to have you here. Our goal in Friends of the Village is to provide a forum for information directly from the people that are involved with what's going on. We don't make any decisions or politicize anything we're doing in these meetings. We are just here to learn all at the same time. Do you remember when we were all in school and they would start a rumor at one end and then find out what it was at the other? That's what this is going to help prevent. Joan Milliman, Lucy, Parker have gone ahead and put this manual all on their own to you that provides the opportunity of getting all the information you need to have your voice heard in the village. Since I've been here just about 10 years, it's been something that's been ongoing that people say, I never heard, or nobody told me that. And sometimes it's because you weren't listening, but sometimes we weren't getting the word out correctly. This gives you lots of ways to do it. So in this moment, I'd like to invite any of you who are not members, if you'd like to join us at $15 a year or $20 for a couple here. If you leave a check today, it's going to be good through 2018, which is coming faster than I care to think about. So in closing for this part, we're going to pass out whatever these things are. No. No, it's not a sign-in sheet. Huh? Joan will explain what we're using that for. So thank you all for coming, and I know you're going to enjoy hearing this information. Joan Milliman's going to step in now and take care of the rest.
Okay, it's in the back of the room. And put this sign up. Welcome to all of you. First of all, a little housekeeping. Be sure that your cell phones are off. Cell phones off. Thank you. That sounds familiar, doesn't it? This program developed because I, for one, as a publicity chair, knew nothing about doing publicity for Friends of the Village when I was first assigned to do it. I was following someone else around who knew where to go and what to say and how much to do, and it was fine. So as far as we went, it was okay. Those are the days we did just flyers and maybe the message board, which is a big mystery to me at the time. And that was, oh yes, and the globe, and I sometimes forgot that, which was terrible. So some of you here are old hands at this publicity. So I think what you're going to find today is some things you didn't know, some new things that are going on, and we're going to be relying on Chuck and Jennifer and Paul to tell us about that. This booklet that you picked up is our version of a media directory for the village. And it has the requirements that our newspaper has, and the flyers, and the new website, and the internet, and television. And while these folks are speaking, you can quietly follow along in this and see what they're talking about. Also, if you have any questions, I'm going to ask you to hold them until everyone's finished speaking. So if you didn't get one, there were little 3x5 cards there where you could write your question down for you, not for us, but for you to remember what it was you wanted to ask. So as you listen, you'll be able to come to the microphone after everybody's done, or we'll bring the mic to you. And I first of all want to thank our panel. We have with us today Jennifer Carmichael, who's the editor of the Globe, the newspaper from the Orange County Register. We're all familiar with that. Next is Jennifer Murphy, who's our VMS Senior Recreation Supervisor. And next is Chuck Holland, our VMS Director for the Internet Technology. Then Heather Rasmussen, say hello, folks, our VMS Senior Public Affairs Specialist. And then Paul Ortiz, who's the VMS General Manager for Village Television. Now, there is a clipboard that may or may not be floating around. And what that thing is for should have sheets on it for you to get an electronic copy of this at some time. It'll be a couple of weeks, maybe a month at the most. And Kathy had those. You can just start it anywhere, anytime. And that's just for the sign up. We need your name and email for sure, and would like the telephone number. It's on there. Okay. All right, without further ado now, my time is just about up. We're trying to give these guys a little extra time. I'm going to begin now with Jennifer Carmichael and the Globe.
Thank you, Joan. Can you all hear me?
Real close, Jen.
A little closer?
Close.
Too close.
No, that's fine.
How's that? Okay. Hi, I'm Jennifer Carmichael. Most of you know I'm the editor of the Laguna Woods Globe. You may not know that I also edit
You need to be quiet, folks.
the Aliso Viejo News and the Laguna Niguel News for the Orange County Register. A little bit about the Globe. We are one of 20 community weekly papers that the Register puts out. Our first issue was St. Patrick's Day of 1965. It was then known as the Leisure World News. The name changed in 2006 to Laguna Woods Globe. And what else? Circulation, about 7,500 within the community. We also sell the papers per copy. If you don't subscribe, you can come into our office and pick one up for 50 cents. So you will see in here we have our submission guidelines. It's like the second page, I think. Yeah, I'm just going to give you the shorter version of this because it's pretty long. And you guys are here because you're presidents or publicity people for the clubs. So you want to know how you get your club news in the Globe. Basically, these are our requirements. Club news is limited to 100 words. Content will be published for 2 weeks. And the format I have up here is the format we prefer is to have all the information like the who, what, where, and when, and location right up front. That way people can see it right away. We do get a lot of complaints that they have to go through the whole, the whole thing to find out when or where the meeting or the event is. So if you can put everything up front, we appreciate that. The newspaper industry likes it in this format where you have the time, the day, the date, and the location. For some reason, that's just the style we use in the newspaper industry. So that is a preferred style. If you don't do it that way, I probably won't change it, but it's nice to have consistency, and that's what we're here for today, is to try and get some consistency in what you guys send to me. And I love educating you guys because it makes your job easier and my job easier, so this is great. News releases. Some people call them feature stories, but really a feature story is something that our staff would write. A news release is something that you send us to promote a special event, not your normal club meeting, or it can be your normal club meeting, but you've got a special speaker you want to feature. So that would be a news release. Those are limited to 200 words maximum, and if you send me a photo, it can be 150 words plus the photo. They will run twice. The photo will only run once. Oh, photos have to be submitted in JPEG format. That's very important. That's the only way we can use them, and that's the only way our design team can use them. So they have to be formatted or sent in a JPEG format. Okay, some of you occasionally might write letters to the editor. Right now, we've got a lot of letters coming in on a variety of topics. It's always very entertaining to read the letters. I think that's probably our most popular page. So our requirements for letters are 250 words max. Try and balance the positive with the negative. If you're going to say something negative, maybe offer a solution. I really think that management does read these letters. So, if you have a solution, I'm sure they would be happy to hear it. Or maybe not, I don't know. And the other thing about letters is you have to include your full name. I need your address for our records just so I know that you are a resident. But if you ask me not to put it in, then I won't put it in, but we do need at least a first initial and a last name, just so we know who you are and that you live here. Very important. Sports columns. Some of you guys might be sending me the sports columns, And for that, it's also 250 words, and no personal stories. Sometimes we do get personal stories about maybe somebody on the team or the club, and I have to let the columnist know that, no, we can't accept that. I mean, a couple sentences or a paragraph on a person is fine, but not a whole column devoted to it. And then most important is our deadline and my email address. Please note that I have 3 A's in my name, not 2, but 3. A lot of people want to put an ER at the end, and guess what? It won't get to me. So that's one reason you might not see your submission in the Globe if you put an ER at the end. And our deadline is noon on Friday. And we have to be very strict about that because we need to be done pretty much inputting everything Friday when we go home, so that Monday I start with the editing process and you know, it just moves along more smoothly. If I'm getting things over the weekend that we have to put in, it just really messes up our whole week is messed up. So if you can get it by Friday at noon, that's great. And okay, so I'm going to have to look at this because I didn't bring a copy. All right, these are some of the most frequently asked questions I get. Can I submit a club submission and a news release to be published in the same issue? Yes, you can. The only requirement is it can't be the same event twice in our paper. So you can have your normal club submission, maybe you're having your normal meeting the following week. You can have that in the club news, and you can also promote a special event in a news release with a headline and a photo. So that's the requirements for that. How far in advance should you submit? We ask that you submit it no more than 3 weeks prior to the event, since we publish for 2 weeks. 3 weeks should, you know, give you plenty of time. Now, if there's a reservations or you know, people have to send checks, then it would be 3 weeks prior to the reservation deadline. Okay, preferred method of sending. We like to get everything by email if possible. If you have access to email, that's the preferred method. That way we can just copy and paste it into our system. We use what's called WordPress for our paper, and all of our Orange County Register papers, we're part of Digital First Media, and they are all switching over to WordPress for story inputting. So when we get the email, we can just copy it and paste it right into our Word document. And this is important. You open the Globe on Thursday, of course, waiting to see if your submission is and what kind of placement you got, and it's not there. I'm sure you know the feeling. Believe me, I hate when things don't go in. That's like my worst nightmare. I lose sleep over it. But you may be wondering some of the reasons why. Probably the main reason is that we got it too late. We got it after deadline. What happens is if it comes in after deadline, I'll put it on a list for the designer and say, if you have space, put these in. We don't always have space. The second reason is that our editorial space is limited. Every Friday, I get a mock-up of our paper. The ads go in first, and we get whatever space is left. So, yeah, that's how it works in the newspaper industry. So, you know, it's limited, and so sometimes I have to prioritize, and events that are taking place sooner would take precedence over something that's later. I even get messages and calls from designers on Tuesday night, hey, you got more content than space, what do you want me to do? And so they will make me prioritize. And I really hate to get those, but sometimes that happens. You know, we plumb run out of space. So I think that advertising. Some of you, in addition to having your free submission in the Globe, might want to place a larger ad. We don't handle the ads. That's all done through advertising at the Orange County Register. Diana Carpenter is our advertising consultant. I have a stack of her business cards back on the table if you want to grab one. And she doesn't give us, editorial never gets the rate sheets. They keep editorial and advertising completely separate. So I don't know what the rates are, but I do know that the clubs that are listed on the Laguna Woods Village website get a 30% discount. So make sure you guys are on that website. And yeah, you can contact Diana for a rate sheet. Finally, in your handy dandy little guide here. 10 tips for self-editing. We get a lot of submissions, like several times, where they want to correct something, or, name is misspelled, or they forgot to put the time. And so we want to cut down on that, so that's why I'm including this in your packet. Really quick, the first 4 things you really should do with everything. And this doesn't just go for the Globe, but anything you're editing, like for TV6 or for Heather. Double check your work, read it over at least twice, read it again later, because you'll see things differently a little bit later. Always use spell check. Watch out for those homophones. You all know what those are, like a word that's spelled, it's pronounced the same but spelled differently. Yeah, there, and there. Council. I mean, there's a million of them. And spell check won't know which one that you're wanting to use. So watch out for those. And get somebody else to look at your what you've written, because oftentimes, they'll spot something that you didn't spot. So, show it to your husband, your wife, another club member. Always a good idea to get a second set of eyes. The next 6 items are just recommended. They're tools for if you have something a little bit longer. Print it out. You'll see the words a little bit differently, and it helps you to spot errors. Use a ruler. Just block out everything and look at it one sentence at a time. Okay, read it aloud. And here's what I do. I play with the font. I always change the font a little bit, and then I reread it. Sometimes I print it out, and I'm able to spot errors that way. And most important, read it again and again and again before clicking send. And that's my talk.
Thank you, Jennifer. Great. Okay.
All right,
the
Jennifer.
lights.
Next, Jennifer.
Lights again, please. Lights on. Okay, our next speaker is Jennifer Murphy, sorry, from the Recreation Department. Okay, take it away, Jennifer.
Hello, thank you all for having me here today. As she said, I'm Jennifer Murphy, Senior Recreation Supervisor, and I'm here to talk about flyers. How many of you do flyers for your groups and your clubs? So we get a ton of flyers in the office, and it seems as if many of you are familiar with the policy, but every now and then there is a new member of your club that takes over that responsibility, and then we have to kind of retrain them. So our policy is a really good thing to hand to anybody that's doing your flyers for you, so that they can review all the information on this to kind of skip over making some of the basic mistakes that we see. But to go over a few of them, the policy is a little lengthy, but a few things that we're starting to notice a trend, and to be sure that everybody knows the location. So for posting of flyers, we have a total of 6 locations. So we have 7 clubhouses, but Clubhouse 2 does not have a flyer rack. So there are 6 locations to put your flyers out. We often get asked, how many flyers should we print? So that's really up to you and your group, and how many people regularly attend. Do you have a big speaker coming in? When Recreation does events, our special events, we tend to print 400 to 500 flyers, but that is for the entire community. Maybe your club, only needs 200 to 300. For distribution, when you bring those flyers to the Recreation Division office, you're going to hand them over to us, and then that evening they're going to go in the mailboxes, and they'll go out to the clubhouses the next business day. Now, if you just hand us your stack of flyers and say all clubhouses, generally what we do is we break them down by traffic. So Clubhouse 1, for example, gets the most traffic of any clubhouse because they have the buses, they have the most reservable rooms, they've got the fitness center, they've got a lot of traffic going on over there. So Clubhouse 1, 3 being next, is going to get what we call a large stack. Then comes Clubhouse 7 and Clubhouse 5. We give them a medium stack. That leaves Clubhouse 4 and 6 getting a small stack. Now, again, if you hand us your flyer stack, we're going to divvy them up that way. If you're particular about which clubhouse gets how many, then we ask that you separate them before you bring them in. Sometimes we get that nobody wants flyers at 6. As many of you may or may not know, Clubhouse 6 is only open for reservations. The pool is only open in the summer. So if there's nothing going on there, the facility is closed and your flyers are just sitting there. So also consider, where are you meeting? Do you meet at a particular clubhouse, and are your members used to going out to the flyer racks to pick up those upcoming event flyers? So put a little thought into the amount of flyers and where you want them to go. You'll bring them in, and again, we'll put them in that mailbox, and they'll go out the very next day with the mail on a business day. And then what happens is the clubhouse staff receive those flyers. Depending upon the time of season, or if there's a big holiday coming up, or if it's a prime time for like summer trips, sometimes there's no space. Your flyers might sit on the desk for a couple days or even up to a week until there is space allowed. Flyers are first come, first serve, and put out when we receive them and we have space. So keep that in mind. You do have 60 days to promote your flyers. So we don't get hardly any of them 60 days out. Usually we get them 3 weeks, sometimes 4 weeks, and sometimes a week. Another thing to consider, is your event taking place next week? Is it going to be out on the flyer racks that long? Do you want to print 400 flyers, or should you only print maybe 150? So you really have to put a little bit of thought into the amount of days it's going to sit out on that rack and how many you want to provide to the public. If you are concerned about when your flyer is going to go out, here in the recreation office, we can't really tell that to you. We don't know how many are waiting at the clubhouses. So if your event's coming up pretty quick and you're concerned about when it's going to go on the rack, the best thing is to take it yourself to the clubhouse staff face to face and ask them, when will this go out? And then they'll give you a good idea. We've been seeing on some of the flyers foreign language, so that's a new policy that has been added in. We will allow that, but if you do have anything in a foreign language on your flyer, you have to put the English translation on the back, or in some cases I've seen a side-by-side box for the translation. Also, there are events for trips that are within Laguna Woods, trips outside. We do see a lot, sometimes somebody will be having an event at an outside location, a neighboring church or a neighboring facility. Please be aware that that is not considered a trip. A trip is when you have a coordinated trip somewhere where everyone's getting together on a bus or on a cruise ship or on an airplane and they're traveling somewhere. Also, general information flyers are prohibited. Every now and then we will receive some flyers that don't have any sort of dates on them. They're just more or less advertising the club and what they do. Keep in mind that there has to be a date because we have to know when it goes up and when it comes down so that we have more space. The flyers must contain date, name, and contact information. So contact information can be an email or it can be a phone number. That's completely up to you. Another big thing that we see, and just today there was another club that was discovered that they had LW or LWV either in their flyer, they just chose to abbreviate the location, or maybe it was in their website, or maybe it was in their email. This has been a policy for a very long time that we cannot include the LW or the LWV, and it goes back to the lawsuit. So there was a trademark infringement lawsuit back in 2007. After the 2006 that she mentioned, when kind of things changed over in the name, and it was decided that the community would not use Leisure World or the letters LW in any type of publicity, posting on their facilities, or anything even similar with words or design. So this is something that's going back to 2007. That was published in the Globe back in 2007, and from that moment on, Recreation adopted a policy for the flyers. Now, that is probably one of the biggest things that doesn't carry out from one flyer designer to the next, and then what happens is we do our best to catch it. Sometimes you have your flyers printed, and then there's a loss of money that you paid for those flyers. So keep that in mind and make sure you share that with all of the members that do all your advertising. Another big thing is posters. Every now and then someone will show up in the office and they've printed 5 or 6 posters for the clubhouses. And I want everybody to be aware that posters are only able to be printed at or posted at Clubhouse 3 or Clubhouse 5. In the policy, which you all have in your packet, there is a performing arts lobby poster area, a performing arts lobby bulletin board, and then a Clubhouse 5 glassed enclosed bulletin board. And the policy is very specific. You can only use those if your events are taking place at Clubhouse 3 or at Clubhouse 5. So if you're having an event at 7, unfortunately, you don't qualify to put up a poster in those cases. Couple other things that I wanted to mention is with the flyers is if you are maybe struggling, I'm imagining that most of you use probably Word or use Publisher or PowerPoint to do your flyers. There's some resources that I put on the back of our policy, things that were shared with me that I put down here that you might want to look into. One of them was Canva that Heather shared with me, and this is a free website that you can go and sign up for. It will allow you to use different images, different clip arts. It has templates. It will help you do a better design flyer. Now, not everything in there is free, but a good portion of them are free unless you choose to subscribe and pay a fee. The other really great thing about that is that you can create a team. Maybe there's a couple of you that are sharing this responsibility. You can create a team where each of you can go in and see what the other's done and make edits. Another one that I recently discovered is postermywall.com. That was one that I was just using today. So if you get bored with the templates on Canva, you can try the templates on Poster My Wall. Pixabay.com is another website that can provide free images. So if you're looking for images for your flyers, that's a good one to check out. Now I'm going to talk a little bit about the flyer and poster approval. This is a new policy that went into effect recently that I know has been a bit of a headache for all of you. It's that stamp that you need to receive from the recreation office or from one of the clubhouse supervisors. So the recreation office is open Monday through Friday, 8 to 5 p.m. You can walk in, any of the people there are able to review your flyer and give you the stamp. The clubhouses is a little bit more difficult because only the supervisors are authorized to do that and you're not sure if they're in office. So if you are going to go to a clubhouse, I just suggest that you make a phone call and make sure they're there before you make the trip. But one thing that occurred to us recently was that we've had some complaints about the quality. So you guys have to print it out, you have to bring it in, we get a stamp on it, and you're losing that quality, that print quality. Not to mention you're now having to make a second trip into the recreation office. Where before you could create your flyer and you could email it directly to Central Services. Many of you call it copy services. The actual department is Central Services, but copy services is how they're known. So this kind of eliminated that from happening. You had to come to the rec office, get the stamp, take it to them, come back later that afternoon or come back another day and then pick up and pay and hand them over to the rec office. So what we've done is there are currently 2 staff members within recreation that have the ability to edit a PDF, which means we could add that stamp onto your electronic flyer without you having to come in. I'm currently working on getting 2 others, so there will be a total of 4 of us that will have the ability to add that stamp electronically without you having to come into the office. So down here you'll see an email, recreation@vmsinc.org. Feel free to start emailing your flyers to this email. Please give us at least 1 full business day to get back to you, but we'll be able to review your flyer, let you know if we see anything that's not within policy, add the stamp, send it back to you, and then you can turn around and email it to copy services. That will eliminate 1 extra trip.
No questions right now, please. No questions right now. Write it down.
So
Ask her later.
if you are going to send, I've done 3 this week, as I've started telling people this. We do prefer PDF. I did get a JPEG, which we can handle, but probably PDF is the best form. Does everybody know how to convert to PDF? Yes and no? Okay, well, we can talk about that later. If you come and see me or Heather or one of us up here and we can show you how to do that. But send your PDF. We'll add that stamp on. And that's another thing. With the stamp, when you're designing your flyer, keep in mind that we have to put that somewhere. So leave space, because you don't want us stamping over your font or your title or a photo or something of that nature. We want to try to keep the quality of your flyer up there for you. So leave a little space. And then from that moment on, once it's approved and you have the stamp, you can forward it off to Central Services, or Copy Services as you call it. And then they can then make the copies for you, and then you can make 1 stop to pick them up and hand them over to Recreation.
Hands up. Hands up.
Thank you.
Wow.
That's terrific, Jennifer. Thank you. All right, next, we have Chuck Holland.
All right, is this thing on? Let's see, let's get this thing moving. So I feel like I'm on a speed date over here, right? I gotta hurry, get my 10 minutes in.
Chuck.
what I actually had this afternoon planned, I actually had it planned a nice show and tell for you, but I didn't know I was going to have the taskmaster on me, limited me to 10 minutes. So I'm
give
going
you time.
yeah, I know. So I'm just going to spend some time going over, talking a little bit about our community website, the areas of the site that you need to go to find your very
We
important.
need to turn the lights out.
No, yeah, let's go and keep the lights on for right now until my.
Sorry.
Wait, sorry. Yeah,
Follow
I want to, let's,
ahead. Doesn't count.
so we want to do is, what I wanted to do today is show you guys the new community website. The important part I want to show you is the contact information, the contact page. If you need to get a hold of somebody in resident services or one of the various departments, people are saying, where are all the phone numbers at? So I'm going to show you the contact page. Also, what I wanted to show you is,
Stay closer to the mic. Closer.
okay,
It's a short mic.
So what I wanted to also show you is, we know when we moved over from the old website over to the new website, we really thought it would be a great idea to make all of the, not make, but allow all the clubs to have a Facebook page. Well, that kind of fell over like a lead balloon, so we thought, oh, wow. So we had made some adjustments, some course corrections, and for right now, what we have is your existing club pages are still pointing at that old website, but we've created a new club page for everybody, at least a club page, web page template, and I wanted to go over that new template with you as well. Right now, we've created a template for Friends of the Village. It'll give you an idea of what your club page could look like, and then most importantly, it's not just about having your own club page, it's how can you manage and maintain that club page on your own, so you don't have to constantly reach out to Heather or somebody else for assistance. We made the administration panel for you to be able to do any of the updates that you like. So simple and user-friendly to use. You're going to find it very, very intuitive. So with that, I know the clock is ticking. Do you think I could come up there and?
Wireless mic.
Yeah. You can hit the lights now, please.
Okay, we can get the lights.
The lights. All right. So as you know, the new community website, has been launched for about a month now, I think. It still has the same URL, the same domain name. It's lagunawoodsvillage.com, right? So it's the same one as ever. You got a different landing page than you would see before. We tried making it very, very simple for you to use. If you want any kind of contact information, just like any other website you see out there, do you see this thing right here? It's called the hamburger menu. I click this menu right here. Everything I need to know, all the important parts of the site are right here. If I want to see, do you see these little check boxes right here? If I click on this here, now I can see all the amenities, right? Now if I wanted, oops, excuse me. And if I wanted to see all the different various neighborhoods, I can do that, right? And if I wanted to see all the resident information, I can see it underneath there. Governing board information, Third, United, GRF, you can find all your information there. But the most important thing is that I want to share today is the contact page. The contact page has pretty much anything you could possibly think of, any person you want to be able to contact via phone or via email. So what I want to show you right here is we have our important office hours for the community center right here, and we have the most important phone numbers. And the reason why we have it like that, so when you're looking at a mobile phone, when you have a very small screen, you're going to very quickly and easily be able to pick out the phone numbers that are important to you. However, if you want to look at view the full phone list, right, we have all the phone numbers down here, right? So you can open this thing up, see the phone numbers. But if I wanted to quickly see every single phone number that we have, click the view phone list, and every single phone number that you could possibly think of is on here. In fact, if there's an email icon next to it, I can actually hit this, and I need to get broadband customer service because my cable TV's out. I can either call them or I can hit this email icon right here. So it's really, really, really simple, right? Okay. All right. I know we're limited here. With that, that's how you use the contact page. It's really simple, and I really implore you to go onto the site, check it out. You can't really tell here because of the way the projector is, but this site is very spectacular in color and richness and fullness. The technology is built for mobile designs first, so it's a type of website. It looks even better on a smartphone and on your tablet than it does on a PC. So it's a really cool technology. For instance, I can give you an example about that. So right here, now I'm on a cell phone. So now, see how it completely scales so we can see all of our different various components, right? Easy to read on your phone. is we noticed that as time goes on, I think we're up to about 60% of all of our website traffic is on a cell phone. Okay, so let's talk about some of those club pages. We know, we're like, Chuck, you guys took away my club page. Where's it at? We're gonna want something new. So introducing your new club page. Yay! No, I'm just kidding. No, this is the old club page. This is the old club page here. So what I wanted to do is show you with a new club page format. So now it has the same image here. Now what we have is Friends of the Village, right? This is the club page we set up for our friends here. So we have an image for you that you'll be able to change this background image, not the name. This will be the name of your club, the registered name. You'll be able to select your own background image. You'll be able to load up your own logos. And then we have shortcuts. You'll be able to load up your documents, your flyers, any kind of documents you like. We have a calendar of events for your upcoming events and your club news, right? So now we also, moving right down, we also have an area for your contact information. And this information right here says 2017 Board of Directors. That's just dummy data I have in there right now. But it gives you an idea. You can actually put your club president, your vice president, all your contact information is for your club. If you so desire, you can put your actually club members on here if you so desire. But I'll scroll down here. And so here's your document widget, right? What I'll be able to do is you'll be able to easily load up your membership form, donation forms, any kind of flyers. So instead of you going down to the community center and spending $20 on the flyers, you just post them online on your club page, right? Make it much easier, right? So also we have our upcoming events. Basically what it is, this is like a news blog type feature. So if I want to click on one of these events, it's not going to, right now this is still in a prototype, but normally what you would see is you'll see a page that come up like so. You'll be able to see all of your events, all your event categories, and then you'll be able to see all of your historical archives of all of your events organized in a very neat and tidy fashion, right? The system will automatically organize them for you so you don't have that very, very long scrolling page of stuff. The system is smart enough to archive them and file them for you, okay? Now, one of the things is people are like, well, this looks so difficult. How am I going to be able to manage this thing? That's okay. I'm going to show you guys how we're going to do that. Oh, not there. There we go. Also, what we've been able to do is you have events that you can post. You can also have news that you can post, and it's the same format. You can have a news archive. But I thought this was pretty neat, is we also put up a photo gallery for you. So you have any of the photos that you want to put up there, you can put all kinds of photos up there you want. Space is not an issue, but you want to make sure that we're going to limit the file size of each of the photos so we don't really bog down the site. Let me quickly talk a little bit about the administrative part of this, what's this going to look like. Okay, here's my little flyer. Hopefully we can see this. So it's kind of small, but when we first set up your site, really you see all these different sections. Here's your logo, here's your introduction, here's your document links, right now it's very simple. If I want to update my logo, I'll just click this little link right here. It'll open up a screen, right? And I'll be able to attach my logo to it. Everything works exactly the same. If I want to add contact information, I click on the contact information thing, and you'll be able to type your contact information in there. So there isn't any HTML, there isn't anything scary. You'll just make sure all the club designees have a username and password. You'll be able to log into the site because you don't want anybody to edit your site, right? So you'll be able to securely log in, make edits to your website anytime you want to, 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, without having to go to Heather and say, Heather, you got to update my site.
Got 1 minute.
Yep. Okay, that's great. So I know. So I listen. Hey, I learn. I like everybody else. I make mistakes. I thought even though I'm giving you a lot of new features and functions that we've had on your new site. Before you just had a running blog, but now we have some photos and documents and news and events. I'm only giving you 5 or 6 things, but I would still really recommend that you guys go out there and get a Facebook page. The Facebook technology out there, they can offer hundreds and hundreds of different features and functions for you out there that we could never provide. So I still think, even though we're going to put together a new page for you all, I still think you should look at Facebook. Last thing is, once we're ready to go, we're going to set up some training classes on the 3rd floor in the community center, and we're going to train you guys all up so you can start updating your club pages. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Chuck. Wonderful. Yeah, next presenter. We have to get the lights on. Trudy, you want to get the lights, please? Okay. Heather Rasmussen.
Thank you, Joan. Thank you, everyone, so much for coming. I see a lot of familiar faces and a lot of new faces, but this is very exciting. Thanks, Chuck. I'm so excited about the new club web pages. As many of you know, that has been a big part of my job for the past going on 8 years now. So I'm happy that's going to continue. What I do, I work in the marketing and communications division of the CEO's office. I administer much of the content for the Village website, for the What's Up in the Village weekly email blast. I help assemble the breeze with the help of the boards. I also administer the Facebook, Twitter, and a little bit of the YouTube channel as well. So I'm here today to let you know how you can use those publicity channels to help your club get the word out about your events and activities. To be eligible, and I'm just going to go through this, everything is on this handout that I'm going to talk about, but to be eligible, the club must be registered with Recreation, of course, just like if you were to rent a room or anything like that, we need you to register. For the LagunaWoodsVillage.com website and the Twitter account, most club news will be posted to those platforms. That's because we have almost unlimited space on those. So most anything that you send me is going to end up on the website and Twitter. Now, the What's Up in the Village weekly e-blast and Facebook, we have more premium space limitations on those. Those can't get too lengthy. So what I'm looking for content for those blasts, which by the way, our email blast is now up to almost 14,000 people that receive it. So it's a great vehicle for publicity, but it needs to be events that are of interest to the entire community, events that are open to the entire community, events that you want a lot of people to show up at. That's what would end up in the What's Up in the Village weekly e-blast and also on the Facebook page. Now, I don't know how many of you are on Facebook, but the Golden Rain Foundation had just recently approved doing some contracting with a marketing consultant to really give it some oomph, and we've gone past 1,000 followers. Our engagement is up almost 400%, so we're getting great results from it. So I highly encourage you to check it out if you haven't already. And you know, if you have those big news releases, certainly send them to me. Say, Heather, I'd like to see this on Facebook, and I'll see if it's something that's appropriate and would fit there, as well as the blast. Now, the Village Breeze is a different type of publication. That publication is put together and written by the mutual boards of Laguna Woods Village, Golden Rain Foundation, United, Third, and the Towers. We don't include club news in the Breeze because that is a governance and recreation focused publication. Just in case you say, Heather, I want this in the Breeze. Sometimes people switch the What's Up and the Breeze synonymously, but the Breeze is just for governance and GRF recreation type activities. Village Life magazine. That's a new publication that we debuted this year. Our last quarterly publication was the first time that we included club events in it. Hopefully you guys got the email that submissions are now open again. If not, I'm letting you know that you can go to LagunaWoodsVillage.com under the club section and submit your events now for November and December of this year. But to make sure everybody gets the message, we're going to be calling every single club just to make sure you get in, because we don't want anyone to miss out. But please go online and do it first to save us a phone call. Let's see, qualifications. So you submit to me, and email is definitely the preferred method. Email me your press releases. It can be the same that you send to Jennifer at the Globe to make it simple for you. We use a very similar formatting, so you don't have to worry about doing anything differently. We use kind of a modified AP formatting, so there's a couple things that are different, but I will go ahead and make those changes because we want to make sure that the tone on the website is always consistent. So with that said, I will and my team will do some light editing just to make sure that the tone is consistent with the rest of the site. Please, if you would like, you can include an image. It has to be high quality and a high enough resolution to post to the website. And you have to be sure that you have the rights to that photo. And what I mean by that is you can't do a Google image search and pull a picture, because we can get in trouble in that. And in fact, we have in the past. used a Getty image that we didn't have permission to use and we didn't buy the license for, and Getty sent us a letter and charged us $800 for the use of that photo and required us to take it down immediately. So it does happen, so it's something to be aware of, and in our new website user agreement, we will put that stipulation in, so you know to do that. But Jennifer mentioned Pixabay is an awesome resource. All of their images are free, royalty-free, and you can use them in even commercial applications. I use it almost every day. She also mentioned Canva. Canva has a lot of the same things too. With the added benefit, it'll help you design your flyers. So that's another program I use almost every day. I think, do I have anything else? Club web pages. Chuck already mentioned that training is going to be coming up soon. We're really excited about that, but I'm going to still be your go-between for setting them up and then any questions you have about it. I'm always here and happy to be of assistance. My business cards are on the back. I'm expecting to get a lot of emails on Monday, so if I miss anything, don't ever hesitate to remind me, because I am wearing a lot of hats, and I can forget. I won't be offended if you remind me. Please do, in fact. So thank you. That's all I have for now.
Thank you, Heather. Great. Next is Village Television, Paul Ortiz.
Hello, everyone. You actually own two amenities that you can utilize 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. One is security and one is television. Village Television, if you go and turn on the channel right now, will work. If you all go to gate 1, and security is going to have a big problem, right? But Village Television is always going to be there for you 24/7, and all you need to do is utilize it. So I'm encouraging a lot of the publicity people to utilize Village Television to announce your, club events and your organizational meetings and things of that nature. And one of the biggest items that we encourage you to utilize is this. This is the message board. This is actually the message board forum. It's been around since the days of Jimmy Carter and even before. What we're doing is working with the Information Services Division with Chuck Holland, and soon online, just as Chuck represented to you, you will be able to fill out these forms online, so you won't have to come into the community center and drop off a form and try and stay within the guidelines of our form. We'll give you a field format where approximately 200 characters, maybe 250, will be able to put your message on there, and also include a logo in JPEG format. And then, as Jennifer mentioned, a lot of you, it sounds like, and I didn't realize this, are working very hard to put together some really nice flyers. So we can also take your PDF and your flyers and turn them into a JPEG, and if that's what you want to utilize on the message board, that is something that we can do as well. The only thing I really want to warn you about, though, is that because of television, you get about 20 seconds to view the slide as it comes through, amongst the many other slides that come through. A flyer someone can hold, they can put it away and read it and get it, so you might want to take it and condense that information and give it to us, and that way it's going to look a lot better. And I encourage you, too, to incorporate your logos. If you are going to the Bowers Museum for the day, include maybe a picture of the Bowers Museum or something like that. Make it visually appealing so your members will see it, and so the other people in the community will also see it as well. They might think, wow, those guys really, it looks like they're going places, and I wouldn't mind joining that club and being part of that organization. So the message board, we encourage you to bring in the form for now, at least 10 days before the day of your event. That gives us time to possibly edit it, any problems we might have, and then publicize it for at least 4 to 7 days prior to your event. Other than a reservation deadline for a dinner party or possibly a bus to the Bowers Museum or something like that, we will show it even earlier. So say your event is October 31st, then you want to bring in your message at least by the 21st or the 21st, 10 days prior. But say your bus deadline is the 21st. Well, then bring that in 10 days prior to that so that we can get that information out there. And we try to work with you as well. A lot of people were concerned that this is very prohibiting. It's only 8 lines, 25 characters. We don't have enough room. If you come in and work with Michelle Mitzel, she is now running our message board, she can work with you. We have a new software. It can, we basically change the font size if we have to. If that's the information you want to include, we can change the font size and make it appealing and make the information prudent presentable to your clubs and to your membership. So we encourage you to use the message board as much as possible. It's available to all the clubs and organizations registered with the Recreation Division as well. We do not accept overnight trips. So if you're heading to Las Vegas or anywhere else overnight, we don't do that. And people are probably wondering, well, why don't you do that? Because travel agencies work with the clubs, and whoever's in charge of publicity will say, okay, we get 50 members to be on this trip. Well, then somebody gets free stay, free board, free cruise, whatever it might be. So we found a lot of the people in the past were working with travel agencies, and the travel agencies weren't paying for advertising, basically, to get these members. So we don't do any overnight trips whatsoever. The other thing I really want to talk about, too, is utilizing Village Television for clubs and programs. We currently have about 10 clubs that regularly, on a monthly basis, utilize Village Television to produce a show. So every club and organization registered with the Recreation Department is entitled to a half-hour live show. So if you all want to be on television, and there's over 250 clubs right now, so if you all want to be on television, it's going to be very difficult, but we would try and work that out. And it kind of cycles through. Every once in a while, we'll have some clubs that are very active, and then other times they'll kind of just fade away. It just depends. And right now, we're working with at least 10 clubs, so you get half an hour, and that's all based on the policy and procedures that you have here that's been approved by the Golden Rain Foundation, the Media and Communications Committee. So if that is something you're interested in, be sure and give me a call. My information is in the packet there as well. And then what else I want to share with you? And of course, you can also provide a video of your meeting. So if you're with the video club and they've produced a nice video for their meeting, you can submit a digital file, a DVD, something similar that we can broadcast, and we'll also include that in our broadcast for the month. And we try to give everyone at least one airing per week, so usually 3 to 4 airings per month, and we'll accept that as well. And we encourage you to bring that again at least 2 weeks in advance, so that way we can publicize it, include it in our television guide, include it on our message board, and promote it on our This Day program. And speaking of our, okay, I'll get to that. And then as well, clubs can utilize the This Day program. If you watch our morning program, which is live from 8:30 to 9:30, Monday through Friday, you all can have an appearance once a month on that program and talk for about 10 minutes. So we encourage you to do that as well. We're always looking for interesting guests and topics, and we want to know exactly, what you all are doing, and we want to share that with the community. You would contact Ken Goldenberg, and the only thing we request is about 5 talking points. If you want to include a logo, some visuals of your last trip, if you have video of something you've produced, again, this is television, so we're trying to get out of it. Hopefully you've been seeing Village Television has really changed in the last year, going to HD. The studio is different, the set design is different, the personalities are different, and we're encouraging everyone to, if it's visually appealing, people are going to watch. So if you have any kind of video or logo or artwork, that's going to make the segment even better. Ken Goldenberg is your contact for that. We also provide production services for clubs, kind of like what our gentleman right here is doing. We are actually producing this to broadcast on Village Television, but Friends of the Village is actually paying you, the Golden Rain Foundation, and the membership for our production services. So if you have a meeting or an event that maybe it's only your annual, or it's something you really want to capture, then give us a call, and then we can see if our production schedule can, get our producers out there, and we'll be glad to produce it. Not only do we produce it, we edit it, we put graphics to it, we make it presentable for broadcast, and then we'll also, again, air it 3 to 4 times. We also have DVDs available of all our programming, so if you have any question or you saw something in the past that you might see, we usually have DVDs available, or we could make one. And a lot of our content is also on YouTube as well. So we encourage you to either Google, or Google's part of YouTube, Village Television, and you'll find many of our channels, or also look at Laguna Woods VLG, and that's also another YouTube channel, mostly for governance and community-related events, where Village Television might be some of the content that we've produced in the past. And Chuck was trying to get me to show you the Trading Post. How many of you watch the Trading Post? See, we buy, sell, trade. So any of you want to buy, sell, or trade any of your items, be sure and contact Village Television. It's not really a club thing, but be sure and share with your membership that we provide it for free. We have a really beautiful pearl white Solera with a nice convertible top right now for sale. So if I was looking for a car, so you'd find some really good bargains on the Trading Post as well. So that is at 11 o'clock and also at 1:30. And we encourage your club membership to watch as well. And it's online. Okay, so Chuck loves online stuff. Chuck does not want any paper on the planet. So if you go to our Village Television online that Chuck was showing you with amenities, you'll also see a field form, and that's really what we're going to bring with the message board as well. And all you need to do is fill out that form. It goes right to our staff, and then we get those ads on. And now we're incorporating pictures of most of the items. If you have a picture of a table or something like that, we incorporate that and we do a nice graphic. So we find that it's been really popular in the past, and that show is probably the longest running show on television, and I'm not kidding about that. I'm guessing easily 1972. We have not stopped producing that show since 1972. And really it's because of the benefit that we have with the volunteers of our community. We have a lot of volunteers, and some of them I see here today, that read the ads, put the ads together for us, and with their hard work, that show continues on and on. It's literally been on since easily the 1970s. We also, this is my last item, we also sell commercial airtime. That is a policy that the Media and Communications and the Golden Rain Foundation will be looking at for clubs and organizations. Currently, if you have a commercial, or if we produce a commercial for a club to promote an event, you would buy airtime from Media Services 55. So currently, you would still do that. So if you have a really good budget and you're putting an event together and you want a commercial on CNN or Fox News or Travel Channel or whatever, we can sell that to you as well. So how much is a good question. So, and how much is always determined by how many spots you air and when the spot airs, and is it overnight at 2 o'clock in the morning on Bravo? And honestly, most people don't do that. So most people use the message board. It's free. Use our This Day program. Contact Ken Goldenberg and our staff, and you get a 10-minute interview. And not only is it shown live at 8:30 in the morning, but we repeat it at 12:30 for our lunchtime crew, and then also at 5 o'clock for our evening people as well that are enjoying the amenities in the community or possibly working. So you actually get 3 appearances with that one. So Village Television, we're here for you. We encourage you to, with all inquiries, to give us a call. 597-4295 is our main office. And we're here to provide service to you, and we hope that you watch us. I encourage you, because 597-4295, the content, the quality of production, the staff that we have, the cooperation we're getting from the other clubs and organizations in the community in the last year has been phenomenal. So you'll see many more programs. The Video Club has been very active with us. The Art Association has been very active with us. We're now producing programs with other community representatives. Cindy Whitney's in the back there. She'll sign autographs for you later.
Don't forget Tony Barr.
And Tony Barr with Club Talk. And that is, whoever said that, thank you. Tony Barr has a show called Club Talk, and he's always looking for guests. So if you want to be a guest on his program, he will interview you as well and talk about your club, your events, and where you're going. Tony Barr, and he's a terrific guy. He's also a host of the Trading Post on Mondays with Bob Bauman. Quite a character, both of them. So I thank you for your time, and I believe now we would take some questions
now we're gonna open it to
from
questions.
Joan.
And I'm going to need you to take the mic around. Thank you so much, panel. Wonderful. Really appreciate it.
I'm hijacking this thing. Where are you going?
Why don't I go in the back? Yes. Hi, Sheila Bass, representing Topic Masters. I would like some clarification, please. You talk about Facebook and Twitter. Now, I understood that we were only allowed to publicize our clubs within the village. This is one of the rules. Now, this Facebook and Twitter you're talking about, isn't that going out to the outside world? And if so, that is a contradiction of the rule. And the other thing I'd like to ask about streaming on the TV, the line that goes across at the bottom, how do we get that put on for our clubs?
So in regard to Facebook and Twitter and YouTube, it's just like with our LagunaWoodsVillage.com website. It is open and viewable to the public, which is why we put disclaimers on all sites that say events are open to residents of Laguna Woods Village and their guests only. It's just the same as our website.
Joan Brown Pickleball Club. Okay. You said you're going to have training on the new website, but we have already given approval for club webmasters. Will that just roll over into the new page?
Yes, but there will be a new agreement that needs to be signed. Because I want to add stipulations like you have to make sure that you have the rights to your photograph, things like that.
Okay. And will we be notified about the training in ample time to plan it, like more than one day in advance?
Yeah, so we haven't scheduled the training time yet because the website is still in development. Chuck has a drop dead date of October 3rd. And so at that time, we need to get our consultant trained up on the training, and then we'll schedule it. And we'll give you guys 3 weeks in advance.
Could,
3 weeks.
There was a question that didn't get answered about the crawl. How do you, when you get it, when they send the stuff to you, Heather, that gets on the crawl, am I right? Can you explain that?
That's correct. So on the old site, we had several RSS feeds, and the club news would feed into the scroll that went at the bottom of the message board. On our new site, all news and events goes into that same RSS feed. So any press release that you send to me that I post to the website will automatically be fed into the Laguna Woods Village message board scroll.
Natalie Mangini, and I'm with ORT America. And I have a question for the trainings that you're going to be doing. Where are you going to be advertising them so that I can make sure that some of the people from my organization that do publicity get to do these trainings?
So it will be emailed to the club presidents and the club website administrators that are current, and then we'll send a press release to the Globe. It'll be announced on TV6 and Village Television on this day.
Okay, another thing, if you do not get Village Television because you have DirecTV, what do we do? No way of seeing it, correct?
Well, all you need to do is hook another television into one of the spare bedrooms and...
I've already got DirecTV in those.
Okay. That's the deal with, well, at least, and you do get the NFL Network.
Can I pull it up? Yeah, that I do get.
Right.
Can I pull it up on my computer?
No.
Let me clarify. The training is not going to be on TV6. We're going to be setting up.
No, I understand that. This is a separate question that people have been asking.
Right, Village Television is not online.
Okay.
So if you have DirecTV, then you will not get Village Television.
Okay, thank you.
All right. My question is to Scott or Chuck Holland. Are you the one that initiated the Facebook and the Twitter, or is it Heather?
You know, that was my idea.
Okay. Well, then why? Because we are a private city, a private everything. Why didn't you set that up as a private group for Laguna Village people only? Because there's many of Facebook groups that I belong to that thousands of people are in it, but there's only because of particularly the security. My gosh, by joining Facebook, they'll know where we live. They'll know our names. I mean, I don't think why that wasn't a top priority since we're always speaking about security.
Well, I think there's a misconception about that. I think right now we have LagunaWoodsVillage.com, and there's a contact button on there that has the address to the community and all the important phone numbers. It's on the web, just like any other company website would be out there.
No,
right?
no, you're misunderstanding what I'm saying. I'm
Right.
saying that the Twitters and the
Right.
Facebook should be private for
Okay.
only the 16,000 people that have cards that they're residents here.
Right.
To belong to that group only. And I
Yeah.
think that should be initiated immediately.
Well, you have to be a member of social media. You have to be a member, right, to be able to get access to the Facebook page and see all the activities and amenities, right? Not all. Not all
No,
the,
I belong to many groups that are very, very private. I mean, one group is
Right.
because of the
Right.
food and drug
Right.
people.
Right.
I mean,
So, let me clarify.
I know they exist,
We're
but I
not
don't know.
putting we're not putting together a Facebook club pages right any longer. We're going to give you a private page that's only on our website. So we're not putting the club pages on Facebook. Okay.
Maybe I can address this.
Okay,
So-
so maybe I misunderstood. This is a private, nobody else can see
No, no,
our
no.
name?
It is absolutely a public account. If there's something you don't want posted to Facebook or Twitter, let me know. If it's up already, I will take it down.
No, why can't we, Heather, have a private group? There's
I
so many-
understand. The
Why
reason
is-
being is because it's another component of our marketing program to showcase what the community's doing, to showcase what clubs are doing, to showcase what amenities we have,
Well,
to
I
draw
don't-
people to live here.
Well, I think that's avoiding our privacy.
I think we need to avoid the argument here. We'll go ahead.
Hi, Trudy Myers, Baby Boomers. When will we have access to the new webpage?
When will you have access to the club? Once the development, right now, the LagunaWoodsVillage.com website, the new one is up and running. If you're referring to the club pages, they're in development right now. I showed you an example of where we're at today. What we're working on now is for you all to have the ability to set them up, the back-end administration component. Once that piece is completed, we'll give you a couple weeks heads up of when the training's going to be, and we'll get you trained up here in the next few weeks, hopefully by the end of October.
No, there'll be a new agreement that needs to be signed.
Heather, this is for you. When you were talking about the Village Life magazine, it sounded as though we could submit photographs, but in the literature it says no photographs, so I'm confused.
No photographs for Village Life magazine because it's a calendar and it's constrained. However, we will feature some club photographs, so if you would like to email me one, but I can't guarantee it will get in because we can only include a few.
Okay, thank you.
I have two quick questions. The first is just following up on the remarks of the person in the front about the Facebook. Don't most organizational sites, I belong to another residence community, and they had a members-only link within their website. So you had the broader website, which they were effectively using for advertising, but then you could also have, very similar to a Facebook or a nextdoor.com or whatever, but it was only through the website. And could we not do that? That seems to be pretty standard.
Yeah, you've been talking about like a private blog for the community, like Nextdoor.
Yes, but
Well,
like
that's what-
a residence only through the LagunaWoods.com
Well-
website.
Yeah.
A section.
No. What we're going to create, it's not to share with one another, is a resident portal for you to be able to log in and see access to your own personal information, but not in regards to a private social media group like a Facebook private group. There hasn't been any plans to create one of those. Well, now
Why
that
not?
now that we know that could be a need of the community, we can have some discussion about that. Right? Yeah.
Can I just ask this is the second part of the question. One of the ways that people find out about information in the community is simply by what I call just strolling through the corridors and looking at the flyers. Is there going to be something on the way the website is structured that without going to a specific club, you'll be essentially able to see an online flyer wall? So say you're just saying, oh, well, I don't know, let's see what else is in the village. And rather than having to go into each website, you simply see those flyers that are out there on a streaming flyer wall in one section of the website.
Yeah, we could put something like that on the recreation page.
Thanks.
Yes. Can you tell me if, I know it went by so fast I couldn't quite tell, do you have a gate clearance link on this?
On the new community website, we sure do. If you go to the residents page, it's the one right in the middle, right dead center.
Oh, that's good. It's getting harder and harder to clear.
Paul, I wanted to make a little addendum. I'm Lucy Parker, who worked with Joni to put this together today. And I just wanted to add, there's in the list of shows that are on now, done by clubs, several of them are open to you. If you're a writer, the Right Now show would be happy to talk to you. The Laguna Woods Stories show is always looking for residents who have an interesting story to tell, as is Esther Grossfield with her Laguna Woods show. So those are not just, some of them are just for the club, but many of them are open to all of you. So you might want to look into that.
Are there any other questions? Because we're going to... Oh, good. I just want to meet Joe.
I just want to ask Chuck and Heather, are you going to pursue this privacy on the Facebook, assuming that, I mean, look at the people here that would love the privacy, and the lady here says it's against the laws and bylaws of the Laguna Village, so why was this done this way? Because everybody that I know, I'll shut up and let you answer.
Okay. So, many of you may not be aware, but Laguna Woods Village has been on Facebook for about 7 years now. And we've had our Twitter account for about 7 years now. The reason you're seeing so much more is because GRF has engaged a consultant to promote our pages. So we're putting a little bit of money into it. So, like I said, there's disclaimers that say it's open to Laguna Woods residents and their guests only. If you do not want your club events posted to Facebook, then just let me know. There are many clubs that do enjoy the extra publicity. Excuse me, sir. There are many clubs that do enjoy the extra publicity it gets. There are many clubs that don't want the extra publicity. But if you're using our website, please do understand that that is open to the public as well. It's no different, Facebook, Twitter, or YouTube, that it's open to the public. So if you have a club event that you don't want going outside of these walls, I would suggest don't send it to the website either.
No, I just think, security, Tim just came to one of our situations, and he's talking about security, but this is security.
I'm not aware of any cases where we're posting addresses, club representatives and phone numbers for contact, well, certainly, but...
I just think, Heather, I know Facebook, I mean, you're a different generation than I am, but I just think that I belong to colleges and so forth, and they belong to private situations. I think Laguna Woods should be in that private situation. I just think that is, I mean, because we were not aware of all this that you're doing. I mean, we just find out through the telephone, like you say, and, I mean, like today, I wasn't aware.
We have to go on, I'm sorry. We've got the message, and I think we'll do something about it.
I have a question. You don't have any intention to change the links that are provided for clubs that have outside websites of their own, do you?
No, we encourage the club members to have their own website. If you have the existing website, absolutely continue to have it.
Very good.
And they're already up there, yep.
You have a policy of having all the flyers reviewed by the Recreation Department. Is that true?
I'm sorry, yes, we have a policy to review. Yes.
Could you explain why?
The review was implemented recently to make sure that certain types of events that maybe shouldn't be happening would be stopped when we saw the flyer. It's also to ensure that you're following the recreation policy. I believe that approval that push came from a fellow resident that urged us to add that policy in. And so we looked at it, we decided to do it, and it's just to enforce the policies and to make sure that the facilities are being used properly and also within policy.
Well, how often does events or occurrences occur? I mean, you're actually putting a lot of burden on a lot of clubs to go through that particular policy, when I think it's just very rare that you would have some...
Believe me, it's not that rare. In fact, there were some events that were canceled yesterday. Commercial type events where they are breaking policy, where they're maybe the room has been rented by a resident and then turned over to a non-resident, and that resident is holding an event in your facility that you're paying for, that non-resident. Things of that nature. businesses coming in from the outside, paying $3 or $4 for a room, selling you something, those types of things.
I just have 2 comments. First, thank you very much. This was the most informative meeting I've ever been at in this place. Not that I go to a ton of meetings, but this was amazing. And second, I know we've moved here, bought into this community 5 years ago, and the website and the information that was on there out to the public was essential to us in seeing it was a community that we wanted to live in. So I think it is important that club information is available to the public to help us with real estate values. Thank you.
We'll take a couple more questions.
Hi, this is kind of a general question, more of a comment, really. Well, one of the things that Joe, I think it was Joe, when going through the website, said was kind of troubling to me. He said, you don't have to post your flyers anymore. You can just put them on the website and everybody can see them. And that to me shows kind of a not understanding of this community here. I think you might reach a quarter of the people that you can reach with flyers on the website. We have a lot of people here. We have people going from 55 to, 105 or older. And many of them are, to say they're not computer literate is an understatement. They're scared of the computer. They're intimidated. I personally know 4 or 5 people who won't have one in their house. They're literally scared of the computer. So my question is, all this would be great in 10 or 15 years. I know that it'll be outdated then too. But when everybody who's moving in here and everybody who's living here has worked with computers in their whole life. But we have a lot of people here who don't use them, don't go online, don't access these things because they can't. What are we going to do about them? They're members of our community and they live here too. And knowing about events because of mobility issues and so forth is really important to them. Thank you.
Outstanding comment. I absolutely totally agree with you. Look. Okay, you're going to get me worked up now. So here's the deal, right? We have a policy. It's called No Resident Left Behind. We're not leaving anybody behind. We're not taking away your flyers. We're not doing anything. We're giving the people who are still out there in the working world the ability to use technology to be able to get information when they want it, 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. They shouldn't have to schlep in from work to go to a community center to pick up a flyer to get the information that they need. We want to be able to cater to all residents, both young and old, tech savvy and not tech savvy. Not only that, we say that people are not utilizing technology here. We have almost 10,000 internet subscribers in this. Keep in mind, we have 12,736 units. 10,000 of the homes have internet access. So saying that people are not utilizing technology is not absolutely accurate.
Do we have any more questions?
That'll be all.
You've already asked several questions, so we'll go forward. Anybody else? No?
Okay, it's been a wonderful presentation. Let's give them a big hand. And two things. On the front of your handout are the rebroadcast times for our program today. So if you didn't get that, everything you wanted, look at it again. And again, a big thanks to all you guys. We really, really appreciate it. Catherine?
Thank you all again for attending. If you like this program, we would be so pleased if you would join us in Friends of the Village. It's $15 a year, and that's for single or 2 people for $20, and that way we can keep bringing these kind of programs to the community. Also, to let you know, in October, we're going to be talking about compliance.
I don't want to have anything to do with it.
Thank you very much. Have a good day.